Imagine living in a country where wearing glasses could get you killed. In Cambodia in 1975, millions lived through that nightmare. I am Atlas the Fox, and this is the story of the Khmer Rouge, a movement that believed it could build a perfect society and left nearly 2 million people dead. For centuries, Cambodia had been the heart of one of Asia's great civilizations. The Khmer Empire built vast cities, controlled trade routes, and left behind Angkor Wat, still a symbol of national pride. But empires rise and empires fall. Over time, Cambodia lost power to stronger neighbors, Vietnam and Thailand. By the 19th century, Cambodia was part of French Indochina. It kept its king, but real power belonged to France. When independence came in 1953, many hoped a brighter future had arrived. Prince Norodom Sihanouk dominated politics. To millions, he was the father of the nation. But the Cold War was spreading across Asia. China had turned communist, Korea had gone to war, Vietnam was heading toward an even greater conflict. Cambodia tried to stay neutral, but neutrality is difficult when powerful nations fight around you. Meanwhile, a small group of Cambodian communists met in secret. They called themselves revolutionaries. Officially, they were the Communist Party of Kampuchea. The world would remember another name: the Khmer Rouge, the Red Khmers. They promised a better future, but they delivered one of the worst tragedies of the 20th century. Among them was Saloth Sar, a Cambodian student educated in Paris. Influenced by revolutionary communism, he believed a new society required destroying the old one. His vision became one of modern history's deadliest political experiments. Later, he would be known as Pol Pot, Brother Number One. But at the time, almost nobody knew his name. To understand the Khmer Rouge, we must first understand the Vietnam War. Because Cambodia's nightmare did not begin in Phnom Penh, it began across the border, in the jungles of Vietnam. By the 1960s, the war in Vietnam was tearing the region apart. North Vietnam, backed by communist allies, fought South Vietnam, which was supported by the United States. But this was not only a war between regular armies. In the South, the North-backed Viet Cong fought a guerrilla war against South Vietnamese and American forces. Soon, the conflict spilled beyond Vietnam's borders. As the war intensified, North Vietnamese forces built a vast network of roads, trails, depots, and supply routes through Laos and Cambodia. Together, these routes became known as the Ho Chi Minh Trail, named after North Vietnam's leader. Through them flowed weapons, food, fuel, and soldiers. For North Vietnam, the trail was a lifeline. For Cambodia, it became a disaster. American leaders feared communist victory in Vietnam would trigger the so-called domino theory. If one country fell, others might follow. To stop this, the United States expanded military operations beyond Vietnam. In 1969, President Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger authorized a secret bombing campaign inside Cambodia. The public knew little about it. Congress knew little about it. But Cambodian villagers knew exactly what it looked like: bombs, fire, destruction. Over the following years, American aircraft dropped more than 2.7 million tons of bombs on Cambodia, more than the Allies dropped on Japan during the Second World War. More than 113,000 bombing sites have been identified. Villages disappeared. Fields became craters. More than 2 million people were displaced. Millions were trapped in a war that was never supposed to be theirs. Then came another turning point. In 1970, Sihanouk was overthrown by General Lon Nol. The new government aligned itself with the United States. Many Cambodians hated it. Corruption was widespread. The war grew worse. Refugees flooded into the cities. The countryside descended into chaos. And the Khmer Rouge saw an opportunity. For years, they had been a fringe movement. Now they presented themselves as defenders of Cambodia, defenders of the poor, defenders of national independence. They also gained an unexpected ally, the deposed Prince Sihanouk himself. From exile in China, he called on Cambodians to resist. Many obeyed, not because they were communists, but because they trusted their king. The Khmer Rouge grew rapidly. Cold War rivalries pushed Cambodia closer to catastrophe. China supplied the Khmer Rouge. The Soviet Union backed Vietnam. The United States backed Lon Nol. Each power pursued its own interests. Cambodians paid the price. By 1975, Phnom Penh was overflowing with refugees. The government was collapsing. Food was scarce. The army was exhausted. Then, on April 17, 1975, black-clad Khmer Rouge soldiers entered Phnom Penh. People celebrated. The war was over. Peace had finally arrived. Or so they believed. Within hours, the soldiers issued a shocking order. Everyone must leave the city immediately. The revolution had begun. The Khmer Rouge called their new beginning Year Zero. Everything that came before was to be erased. Cambodia was renamed Democratic Kampuchea. Money was abolished. Private property was nationalized. Religion was banned. Schools were closed. Hospitals were abandoned. Pol Pot believed Cambodia could skip centuries of development and become a perfect agrarian communist society overnight. There would be no rich, no poor, no classes, no individuality, only obedience. The result was catastrophe. Within days, nearly all of Phnom Penh was forced into the countryside. Families were broken apart. To erase modern society and build an agrarian, classless, communist state, the Khmer Rouge divided people into categories. The rural population became the base people. Urban residents became the new people. And the new people were treated with suspicion. Teachers, doctors, lawyers, government officials, engineers, monks. Anyone linked to education, cities, or modern life became a target. Even glasses became dangerous. They could suggest education, and education could suggest disloyalty. But the classless society was a lie. While ordinary Cambodians starved, the leaders lived far more comfortably than the people they claimed to represent. At the top was a small command circle known as Angkar, the organization. To most Cambodians, Angkar was an invisible force that seemed to be everywhere, and at its center stood Pol Pot, the regime's unquestioned leader. Then there were Nun Chia, brother number 2, enforced the party's brutal discipline. Yang Seri controlled foreign relations and presented the regime abroad. Khieu Samphan served as the public face of Democratic Kampuchea, and Yang Tirith, often called the regime's first lady, served as Minister of Social Affairs. They preached sacrifice and equality, but only to the people they ruled. Across Cambodia, millions were forced into labor camps. The regime demanded impossible rice quotas. Workers dug canals, built dams, and farmed from dawn until darkness. When harvests failed, the regime blamed the workers, not its own insane policies. Then starvation spread, disease spread, exhaustion spread. As conditions worsened, Khmer Rouge paranoia grew. Enemies seemed to exist everywhere. Soon, the regime began targeting its own members. The revolution started devouring itself. Nowhere was this more visible than at Tuol Sleng Prison, better known as S21. A former high school in Phnom Penh, it became the regime's most notorious prison. Its commander was Kang Gwek Eve, better known as Duke. Before the revolution, Duke had been a mathematics teacher. Under the Khmer Rouge, he became an administrator of terror, obsessed with documentation. Every prisoner was photographed, every confession recorded, every interrogation catalogued. Prisoners were tortured until they confessed to links with the CIA or Vietnam. Many confessed to impossible conspiracies, just to make the torture stop. After interrogation, prisoners were taken to Cambodia's infamous killing fields. There, thousands were murdered and buried in mass graves. Ammunition was often considered too valuable to waste. Many victims were killed with clubs, tools, and farm equipment. Around 17,000 prisoners passed through S-21. Only about 12 survived. In less than 4 years, nearly 2 million people were dead, almost 1/4 of Cambodia's population. Some were executed, but many more died slowly from hunger, forced labor, and disease. By the late 1970s, Cambodia had become one of modern history's deadliest social experiments. A revolution that promised liberation had created mass death. In late 1978, Vietnam invaded Cambodia. Within weeks, the Khmer Rouge regime collapsed. On January 7, 1979, Vietnamese forces entered Phnom Penh. The brutal reign of the Khmer Rouge was over. Yet Cambodia's suffering did not end. The Khmer Rouge retreated to the western border and continued fighting. The new government tried to seal them off with the K5 line, a vast barrier of mines and fortifications along the Thai border. Once again, thousands of Cambodians were forced into dangerous labor. Malaria, dengue fever, and landmines claimed countless lives. And mines were already scattered across the country. Khmer Rouge mines, Vietnamese mines, American unexploded bombs from years of bombardment. Long after the war ended, danger stayed buried beneath the soil. Farmers lost legs while plowing fields. Children lost limbs while playing. Hidden explosives still claim lives today. Justice arrived slowly. Very slowly. Pol Pot died in 1998 without facing trial. The UN-backed Khmer Rouge Tribunal was established only in 2006. It was a mixed court with Cambodian and international involvement. By then, many senior leaders were old, sick, or already dead. Yang Tirith was found unfit for trial because of dementia. Nuon Chia, brother number 2, was convicted, but died in 2019 while his appeal was ongoing. Duke, commandant of S-21, was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Some justice was delivered, but only a handful were held responsible. For many survivors, it was too little and far too late. Today, Cambodia has rebuilt. Its cities are alive again. Angkor Wat welcomes visitors from around the world. The economy is growing. But even today, when skulls still emerge from Cambodian soil, they speak for those who were silenced. And they remind us that some of history's greatest tragedies do not begin with hatred alone, but with promises of a perfect future. Hi, I am Atlas the Fox. If you want more stories from history, subscribe and follow me into the next episode.